Hello students, in this video we will talk about determination of income and employment, and in order to study this we are going to study two approaches, AD and AS approach and saving and investment approach. It is believed that you all know the meaning and components of AD and AS and also the difference between ex ante and ex post variables. In an economy, equilibrium is achieved when AD is equal to AS. Correspondingly, when AD is equal to AS, saving and investment are also equal, as it can be seen from the equation given on the screen. Thus, we are going to study the equilibrium with the help of both these approaches. So let's start with the first approach, that is aggregate demand and aggregate supply approach. Now, there are few assumptions which are made before explaining the approach, and these assumptions are that we are talking only about the two-sector economy, investment expenditure is autonomous, price level is constant, and equilibrium output is determined only in the short run. Now, before starting the approach, let's take an example. Let's say there was a fruit and vegetable seller, Mickey. Daily he sets his trolley, assuming a particular demand which will be there. Now, let's assume that one day demand of fruits and vegetable was more than what he planned to sell. What is he going to do in that case? Obviously, in that case, his stock of fruits and vegetables will decline, and then he will be procuring more fruits and vegetables to rebuild the unplanned decline in the stock. But what if very few customers turn up than what he expected? This will lead to an increase in the stock of fruits and vegetables with Mickey, and thus he will be procuring less fruits and vegetables because of this situation. Considering this situation, we are going to discuss AD and AS approach. But keep one thing in mind, that this was just a micro example to correlate the approach with the real life easily. According to AD and AS approach, which is the important part of Keynesian theory, income in an economy is determined when aggregate demand, as represented by consumption plus investment, is equal to aggregate supply. Thus, it can be seen in the diagram that equilibrium is achieved at point E with Y as equilibrium level of income. Now, in order to prove that this is the equilibrium level of income, we are going to take two cases, that is when AD is more than AS and AD is less than AS, and then we will see what happens when these two cases are there. First, starting with the case AD greater than AS. What do we mean by AD greater than AS? It means that all sectors in economy are planning to buy more than what all sellers are planning to sell. As a result, what will happen? Go back to the example of Mickey. As a result, there will be an unplanned decline in the inventory. In order to rebuild the inventory, what will happen in the economy? The production will increase, income will increase, and employment will also increase, and the equilibrium will be restored at point E. What happens when AD is less than AS? Again, it means that what all consumers are planning to buy is less than what all sellers are planning to sell. What will happen because of this? Because of this, there will be an unplanned increase in the inventory. And due to this unplanned increase in the inventory, producers will cut down the production, as a result of which income will decrease and employment will also decrease, and equilibrium will be restored at point E. Thus, summing up, when AD is more than or less than AS, then adjustment mechanism takes place in the economy, and then economy is back to the equilibrium level where AD and AS are always equal. This can be seen with the numerical example here. Here in this case, AD and AS are equal at corresponding to income level 400. Let's recap once. Equilibrium is achieved when AD and AS are equal, which is shown by point E in the diagram. And the demand at which equilibrium is achieved is known as the effective demand. Now, correspondingly, we have a saving and investment approach as well. As we know, the point where AD and AS will be equal, at the same point, saving and investment are also going to be equal. Thus, according to AD and AS approach, equilibrium is achieved at point E in the first diagram, and correspondingly in the second diagram also it is achieved at point E where investment and saving are equal. Again, any deviation between saving and investment can be explained in same manner as that is there between AD and AS. Whenever saving is less than investment, it means that aggregate supply is less than the aggregate demand. And the same adjustment mechanism will hold, which will take place the economy back to the equilibrium point E. Similarly, when saving is more than investment, then aggregate supply is more than aggregate demand. And the same adjustment mechanism will again ensure that economy is back to the equilibrium. Thus, a quick recap: equilibrium is achieved when AD is equal to AS and saving and investment are also equal. Thank you and have a good day.